This isn't just a game. This is iRacing.
The following is a special presentation.
From the Captain Esports Network.
This isn't just a game. This is iRacing. It had been since May that we wrapped up Season 7 of the All-American Cup Series. Well, after 7 seasons, we have moved up a night and start fresh on a Thursday night. We welcome you to Season 8 as we kick off the fun that is the All-American Cup Series. Thanks to our presenting sponsor for this season here in the All-American Cup Series. And that, of course, being Leafguard of Vermont. I'm the captain. We welcome you in as we get you ready for racing here at the Daytona International Speedway virtually on iRacing. The Firecracker 200. It is the first of 14 weeks, and of course we continue on with the 2024 season and get you ready to rock and roll here tonight in the All-American Cup Series season. Before we get started with qualifying here momentarily, I'm going to make one quick adjustment. There we go. All right. So, yeah, the All-American Cup Series. It is, of course, presented by Leafguard. Get it today. Of course, protected for life. That's Leafguard of Vermont. Big shout-out to Steve Ritter, who, of course, is the big sponsor here of the one of the premier partners, I should say, of the All-American Cup Series this season. Got a lot of rookies. Got some great racing coming up here throughout the season. Let's take a look really quickly at our schedule because, as mentioned, qualifying is underway. And once again this season, qualifying is presented by our friend Mike Husby and MHD Design Polls. Of course, MHD Design Poll Award is Mike Husby, of course, with race car designs and so much more. Big shout out to Mike for sponsoring the season schedule. Firecracker 200 kicking off here tonight. Then it's Chicagoland Speedway, New Hampshire, Darlington, and then Michigan, Nashville, Indianapolis, and so much more on this schedule. But right now we got to qualify, and it's going to be very close when it comes to who might make the field and who might not. There's a lot of cars here, and I'm not exactly sure if we have a full field, but it is really close number-wise. As I peek over here at the grid, been working on a lot of things here during the practice session and getting everything up to date. Got, as I mentioned, a ton of rookies. You're going to see some names crossing over from other leagues, and I think we're going to see a pretty good show here. Of course, we get the 5-minute warm-up, so we'll talk more about that during that time period and so much more. As the first car, there's Jeff Perchowski is going to cross the line. Let's get you some car audio here. Appreciate everybody joining us. Welcome into the Captain Esports Network. Couple little hiccups there, but we're getting going here. Big shout out to Brantley Roden hello to you for watching here tonight. Appreciate all the viewers who are hanging out here so far this evening. And, of course, a big shout-out to Mrs. Heller, watching her son Chris race. As Heller going to be the first one to throw a lap up there on the board, 49.44. However, he is topped very quickly by Dylan Rosenberg and then Alex Boutet, I believe it's how you pronounce that name. As I'm hearing weird sounds all of a sudden here. Anyways, 48.82. You just never know when a weird sound's going to show up in your ears, but I don't think you guys heard that, thankfully, on the stream. You get the 2 laps to qualify here, and you're going to see some different names and different numbers here tonight. A lot of changes in the series. Of course, we'll cover that as we go on here. Wesley Donaldson, the 99 car, the WBD diecast. He's brought a lot of his friends over from another series to race here tonight. Is Rosenberg still up there with a 48.54? He was picking on himself earlier, saying he wasn't that good of a driver. And he's definitely showing me wrong right now. Craig Martin to the top, 48.53. Barkuski goes 48.52. Of course, Casey Carrington crossing the line right now. He's probably going to be the one to watch. He usually gets up there pretty close to it in qualifying. As Percheski crosses the line, Michael York, a lot of cars out here on track. And it's going to be, see, 6, 7, 8, 40. It looks like everybody will make the race. That's good news. Nobody's going to get the go home button here as Justin Thompson crosses the line. Donaldson up to 6th with a 48.55. A lot of updates to this car. Last time you seen it on track, of course, it still had some of the ARCA rules. So, obviously, this league had went to work. Talking about the All-American Cup Series, had went to work and edited the setups and dropped the car down so you could push a little bit more and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Stephen Miles, 48.53 is P2. And here's Casey Carrington, the boss man, looking to grab himself another pole here. Let's see if he can do so here. We're right on board with the Dodge of Carrington. Right down on that yellow line. Ooh, almost clipped the apron a little too much. Might have messed up the lap. See how much that upset the car. He's in the green, but not the purple, you notice. To be the fast car in qualifying, you got to be in the purple. It's down there on the apron across the line. Got it, 48.50. However, Kyle Ethier purple now. Here comes the Rusty Wallace throwback. He got on the apron too late. That might have hurt him. Did he get there? He crossed the line, but it didn't register. 49.86 for Ethier. And Kyle Hall, the 41st qualifier. So Casey Carrington going to be on the pole. And a big shout out to Mike Husby Designs. Of course, sponsoring the pole award is Ethier crosses the line just about a scotch too late. And will not be the pole sitter here, as it looked like it was going to be very close between he and Casey Carrington. Of course, as I mentioned, the warm-up has begun. Let's get you set up here with what is to go. As I mentioned, lots of rookies here tonight. Lots of new names, new drivers, and different seats, and so on and so forth. Let's start with Zach Rogers. You might notice that name. Yes, he, of course, has been driving that Napa 4 car. He is in the 19 Dodge. And, of course, now racing with CX Squared, or CX2. I'm going to get that out of the way one time before Casey yells at me for saying it all season. But he is in that 19 car now, of course. Miles and those guys returning. Kyle Ethier and all. James Silver's here tonight in the 17 car. Per usual, a lot of names from, if you remember the Sim 500 series on Monday nights, you might recognize some of these names, as in Anthony Calantoni, Charles Van Schaik. You might recognize Wesley Donaldson. A lot of those guys have come over from there. Of course, Daniel Giroux is here from the TI series we covered. Got to see Christopher Dean making his season debut here in this series. Of course, he's been around for a while. And yes, you got the usual suspects of Mark Whitley's. Tonight you won't see McCorder as he's out tonight, but he will be back in the series. So, as I mentioned, a lot of names that you're used to seeing in this series and some new ones going to make appearances here throughout the season, either part-time or full-time. One example, Matthew Weeks, of course, he'll be here and back at Darlington later this season, as he's got some other projects he's working on. Now, I showed this to you a few minutes ago during pre-race. Let's show it to you again, the schedule for this season. It starts tonight here at Daytona, and only one off week between now and 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. But otherwise, you see the schedule, and it looks very familiar if you remember like the older schedules back in the mid-2000s. That's where you see a lot of this. The Daytona, the Chicago, the New Hampshire, the Michigan. That's that July-August run up to the Brickyard there on September 19th. Watkins Glen, and you see the trip to Kansas, Talladega, Richmond, and, of course, finishing up at Charlotte and Homestead, the final 2 races of the season. Now, as I mentioned, there is a points award for the season in this series. And if, pretty much you got to look at the points from last season, as Mark Whitley, of course, was the points champion in season number 7, holding off his teammate McCorder by 14. So basically, they start right here at this number, and they start racking up points for the rest of season 8. Now, there's a season 8 championship also. For those who are new to the channel, there's 2 different championships, basically, that will be crowned at Homestead come November. So hopefully that gets you up to date with what is to come, as the cars are on track for another 2 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and step away. Let's get you the national anthem. We'll come back and go racing here from the world's center of racing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, cars are out there on the track as they get ready to race. In about 10 seconds or so, we are going to go down to the grid and get you the starting lineup here for the Firecracker 200. Somebody lights it up coming to pit road. Pit stop's going to be very important tonight, and obviously anything can happen. One big stat I will tell you right now, the last 3 seasons, Season 5, Season 6, Season 7 here at Daytona, have produced a first-time winner. So tonight could be a night you see somebody like a Dylan Rosenberg or a Steve Ritter, or how about Tuesday night, the new partnership that All-American has with Sim Racer Hub. Of course, they have another series that runs on Tuesday nights. Daniel Giroux went to victory lane in that race. Will lightning strike twice, potentially? That could be an interesting thing to look at here in the race come tonight. So, I mean, obviously, a lot to show for here this evening. As let's go to the track now and get you the starting lineup here. There's all the updated paints happening to the cars right now. Of course, with the Week 1 merger between All-American and Sim Racer Hub, it's a combined championship that is going to be happening there, as I talked about that tonight. Round 2 of that, Giroux, Michael Sturgill, and Dylan Rosenberg won that race. Of course, 2 of them are in tonight, and guess what? If one of them go to victory lane, it'd be their first win in their All-American career. All right, here we go. Starting lineup: Casey Carrington on the pole, Brandon Markuski outside row number 1. Row 2, Stephen Miles there on the inside. He'll start alongside of Craig Martin. Row number 3, Justin Thompson, Dylan Rosenberg, as the cars roll out onto the track, slowly and surely. Alex Patet and Michael York, row 4. Row 5, Wesley Donaldson and Christopher Dean. Steve Ritter, Christopher Heller in row 6. Row 7 is Zach Henry, Daniel Giroux, Austin Bloom, Jeff No. James Silvers, Mark Whitley, the champion from last season, starts in row 9. Row 10, Johnny Barker and Josh Dillon. John Osborne, Tyler Bellinger in row number 11. Row 12, Ryan McCall and Anthony Calantoni, who's a pretty good super speedway racer. Jake Fanoski, Jose Ruiz in row 13. Row 14, Chris Murphy and Zach Rogers. Jeff Procheski, Steve Melnick in row 15. Nick Leo, Matthew Casborough. Justin Ray, Nick Sargent, row 17. Row 18, Hunter Canyon and Dan Legowski. I might have a nickname there. Charles Van Schaik, Jonathan Altman in row 19. Row 20 is Brad Delph and Kyle Ethier, and it looks like the 41st starter did make it, I believe, will be Kyle Hall. So we'll have to see. I believe he did make the grid, though. Race information here tonight. The Firecracker 200 is 81 degrees, 70% humidity, partly cloudy skies with 9-mile-an-hour winds. 80 laps tonight, 200 miles. And, of course, that 2-hour time limit that we usually don't have to worry about is in play. And, of course, big shout out to Leafguard of Vermont, the proud premier partner of the All-American Cup Series. And also, later on this season, you'll hear a lot more of SimRacer Hub. Of course, we'll talk about that with the point standings and stuff, but they have joined as a premier partner also. As the pace car pulls off, Casey Carrington, Brandon Barkuski bring them for the first time on a Thursday night. It is the All-American Cup Series Racing in Daytona. Season 8's underway. Of course, our camera is presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. As these guys get up to speed, Carrington, Miles, Barkuski have already kind of stretched out. That 28 car there behind him. That is actually the 29. I'm going to have to get used to a Haviland 29 car. That is Botet. That beautiful sound right there. Well, the great news, they've already made it farther than they did in Season 7, as they made it to Turn 1 before the caution came out. As we complete Lap 1, give it to Barkuski at the line. Wesley Donaldson there on the inside. You see Steve Ritter, that 16 car, back with Leafguard of Vermont, back in the series. Had so much fun. Decided to be a premier partner this year in the series. So good to see him here. As you see the sun going to start to set. Should be under the lights before this race is over with. Shout out to Justin Leclerc watching in the chat. Appreciate you, sir. Pretty good line of cars, and there is your winner Tuesday night in the SimRacer Hub Series. Daniel Giroux in the 92 car, the Spectrum. There's cable company / satellite dealer / or not satellite dealer / internet provider / everything else they do. As I mentioned, new faces in same faces, new name. Zach Rogers, that 19 car I said earlier. You know, I'm going to be used to calling that Mike Husby. That is Zach Rogers this year in that 19 car. Of course, Josh Dillon in that 12 car, another driver looking for his first win in the series. That 23 car up in front of him. That there is Jose Ruiz, I believe, as they getting used to things here. Zach Rogers, of course, that black and white number 39 car that we're used to. Anthony Calantoni, the Talking Giants 84. I believe the Giants are actually playing right now. The NFL preseason is kicked into full gear now tonight. Justin Thompson, 26th position back here. He's kind of riding so fast that he just ran the fastest lap of the race, believe it or not. That 3 car, that draft playing a very powerful pull to it. Which when you have everybody double file up in front, and then you got a single file line back there, all it's doing is pulling you along, saving gas. As we look at about a 2-stop race here tonight. Remember, on super speedways in the All-American Series, it is 64% gas, which pretty much puts you at like the old 13.5 gallon fuel cells that they used to run back in the mid-2000s when they were trying to break up the pack. There's already 6 laps complete. Thompson, you see, riding that top side. Out back, everybody in the draft. All 41 cars that started this race. Chris Murphy there, that 21 car, newcomer to the series, I believe. I know I haven't seen him in a couple seasons. There's some names you'll notice the R's not there. So forgive me, I was trying to get them all in there before the race started, but ran out of time there a little bit. But Dan Legowski, okay, he might be my front runner right now in coolest paint scheme tonight. That Jeff Gordon throwback there, that chrome gold number 35. That's a good leader in the clubhouse right there. And mind you, I was not a Gordon fan growing up, but I'm an unbiased broadcaster. So. Laps in already. Ooh, one car getting loose back there. The 28, whoever that is. That, of course, you have to forgive me as I get used to new names tonight. Hunter Cannon in the 28 car got a little free up there towards the wall in 1 and 2 is Brad Delft. Did Brad Delft just lag out, unfortunately, in that 14 car? So tough break for him. Great start here so far. It's everybody being patient with each other. I say that right as Justin Thompson sticks it up the middle, going 3 wide. And Rogers up there in the wall. Got to be careful. James Silver's in there. These cars aren't the most stable things in the world. Markuski is cleared to the front. Carrington there pushing him as front 3 pretty much single file. Dylan Rosenberg, the first one side by side. That's him in the 91 car. Outside Craig Martin in that 22 car with his smiling number 22 car. Mark Whitley in the red, black, and white 77 car, the champ from last season. This was one of the rare races where he actually had a rough finish last season. Unfortunately, him and his teammates were kind of involved in a last lap wreck. Coming to the line last season. So Brad Delph, unfortunately, with some issues. He's off the track now. As it looks like he had some kind of issue connection-wise or something. Everybody else looking pretty good out here on track right now. As outside line is starting to come to work, as here comes the 22 of Craig Martin. Help from Daniel Giroux. A Canadian driver there. And that 22 goes to the front. Takes Giroux with him and Mark Whitley there with him. Anthony Calantoni, I mentioned how good of a racer he is on these super speedways. He's a good one. Wesley Donaldson just as good. And of course, Mark Whitley right there behind him. Knows how to go to victory lane on any track pretty much. Appreciate everybody hanging out here tonight. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you joining us as per usual. If you're not new to the channel, we thank you for coming back and hanging out with us on a Thursday night. I got used to not calling this Friday night anymore. I would have been streaming this on our Facebook page, but apparently there's some kind of protection thing now. I have to go unlock my account, so not able to stream it over there tonight, but we are on Twitter, of course, tonight also. Also, our friends at MC Racing would be probably streaming us downtown Fort Wayne here tonight, as per usual. If you ever get a chance to go check them out, by the way, one of our proud sponsors here on the Captain Esports Network. If you ever come to the Fort Wayne area, they got some cool simulators set up that you could race iRacing and all right there at MC Racing downtown Fort Wayne. I went in there and had some fun myself, and you can do the same, especially if you know somebody who's maybe more of a rookie at the whole sim racing thing, or you want to introduce them to it. I would suggest go to MC Racing there in Fort Wayne. If you're heading to Indianapolis or maybe heading north to Chicago, swing on in and check it out. Big shout out to Mark for doing what he does. That's 13 laps. And speaking of Mark, Mark Whitley has now jumped to the front with Anthony Calantoni. The three of Justin Thompson there with him also. A 90 car, I got used to that number. That's Kyle Hall. Used to him being in, not number 90. I forget what number he usually is. 38 or something like that. I can't remember. Been too long since we've been on the air. There's Jeff Prochetsky, that 5 car. 00 there behind him. That is Charles Van Schaik. You usually see him in a number 23 car. I saw the 23 earlier. And I'm like, wait, that's not Charles. Got used to him in the 00 Haas car as Casey Carrington looks like it's time for him to abort ship and head to the back. See who else is back there hanging out. See Nick Leo hanging out. Matthew Casbero, Justin Ray, Murphy back there. A couple of rookies, Tyler Bellinger and Jonathan Altman hanging out back here. You hope these guys practiced pit stops. I saw a lot of them doing it during practice, but obviously if you didn't, you got to know you got pit stops coming up here very shortly. And you do not want to mess up your race when it's got a green flag look to her. That 23 car up top there, that is Jose Ruiz, by the way, in that number 23 car. Stephen Melnick, the Michael Waltrip 15 car, with Hunter Canyon there in front of him, and the Dean machine there behind him. And at Lowe's 48, that 97, that's Ryan McCall, who's actually filling in tonight for a driver that I'm unsure who it is. Thompson, who started in the 5th position, has worked his way to the front after falling back at the start of this race. He now runs to the front. Here comes Anthony Calantoni all the way from the 24th position. And that Talking Giants 84 car, for those who don't know, Talking Giants, a podcast that features on the, wait for it, New York Giants. Oh, Thompson, yikes. Had to shut the door real quickly before he put himself 3 wide there. That could have been very tricky. So to come by and complete the 18th lap here, we've had numerous lead changes already. The good news about this car, we've always harped on it, and I got to watch it myself because I've been one that's always said you can't push in these cars. Well, iRacing's finally made the adjustments, and you can kind of push in this car now, a little bit more than you used to. It is not so easy to literally drive under the car and flip it over. As I remember a race with Brandon Alphin once where he once drove under a car and came out the other end, and the other car landed completely on its wheels and kept going. '25 car, that is Barkuski, who's led early in this race, and that Elliott Henderson Designs 25 car. Of course, the one back there behind him, that Donnie Allison, or the old Tropic Hawaiian #1 paint scheme with that. I say the paint scheme, the one is that font. That is Stephen Miles. That Laser Racing #1. So now it's 20 laps in. Everybody, for the most part, has been pretty calm. So now you got to kind of set yourself up for pit stops, and you do that now. You don't do that in 10 laps when you have to get to pit road. You want to try to get yourself to the bottom as quick as you can. Now, obviously, you can be aggressive and stay on that outside lane and just find your way down. But obviously, if you're one that's very conservative and want to get yourself in the right position, get down there now and just hang right there on that yellow line and be ready to come to pit road, because one mistake at the way this race is going and your race could be done because you end up losing the draft, and you do not want to finish 41st in this race or 40th to start this season. As up front, the 99 of Wesley Donaldson coming into play now. I mentioned Ruiz in at 23, the 8 of Christopher Heller. Got to get used to him in those EHG colors. Of course, he had an energy drink on his car last season. Hello, hello. Appreciate all the viewers hanging out here tonight. It's all 21 strong here so far. If you're new to the stream, share it with your friends, share it with your family, tell them about the captain. As we start to get back going now with the seasons. Been a little bit of time off here from some racing. Tomorrow night, get back on the dirt for the first time in about a year. And going to broadcast the series. Looking forward to doing that tomorrow night. And then Sunday night, of course, our traditional Sunday and Monday broadcast. The only night we'll be off between now and Tuesday will be Saturday. So you get 4 broadcasts the next 5 nights, all right here. If you hit that follow button so you get notified and come join us. We ride with Zach Henry here. Hanging out 197 miles an hour right now. It's back behind Ritter there in that number 16. Everybody doing like I said, a pretty good job here so far. Keeping it clean. See the pack, not really too organized and pushing each other. Just kind of being patient and giving each other room here. Whitley kind of controlling both lines, doing the best he can there in that 77. Here's Nick Sargent, the 24 car. At Ford Taurus, again, this series notorious for having the most interesting of manufacturers, but I think once again this season's pretty standard. I go back to the first season I broadcasted here, I think we had everything but Fiat in the series at one point. But it's the traditional Dodge and Chevy and Ford and Pontiac, and I think that's about it. Of course, different Ford models. I saw the Taurus now. I've seen... I haven't seen a Mustang model, so probably the Taurus would be the more likely car you're seeing here. The 26 laps now in the books. As I said earlier, if you're at a point now where you're trying to get yourself to the bottom, now you're at the point where it's like, all right, find a spot and get there. We ride with McCall here in the 14th. As a matter of fact, let's go helmet cam here and let's see what he's seeing. Give him plenty of space. Right there, you see the first car dive off. Giroux, looks like Craig Martin. As Altman is... Did he miss pit road? Yep, one car out in the grass. That's Altman. There's your first issue. Right there, but it looks like he might be okay if he can get to his pit stall here. Get tires and fuel. He might be able to carry on. Should be 2 tires for everybody. And Altman actually drove through the pit, so I'm not sure if he got turned or what the deal is. Is Craig Martin, did he speed on pit road? That answer is yes, as he sits there. So there's your second mistake right there. As more cars coming to pit road. Mark, well, James Silvers goes sideways. It saves it to 17, gets it straightened back out. As a champ, Mark Whitley comes to pit road here. Should be fuel only for all these guys as they will roll away. And Craig Martin's still sitting there. And whatever Craig Martin did, he's got big damage now or something. He's been there over a minute. As Whitley pulls away, Silver still on pit road. Maybe a speeding penalty there, trying to slow it down. As here comes a pack of cars. All about communication. It's very hard to pit on a super speedway track because of that right there. Leo contact with the 42. You do not have a spotter on pit road, so you have to go off of what is around you and kind of have the knowledge of it. And right there, Leo and Jake Vanoski coming together. And Leo going to get the worst end of that one as everybody leaves pit road. Which reminds me, as this would be a good time to point this out, as here comes the next pack of cars, and Barkuski looks like me driving on ice over there. Locks it down, though. And look at this crew now come to pit road. Again, know who's around you. best advice I can give you is if you start in the back, stay on the inside lane. If you start up front, that's when you stay. Oh, low contact there between Rosenberg and the 29. Fuel only for everybody here. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, you're pitting in a later stall. So just don't be on the inside lane if you started up front. Oh, Dan Legowski, it looks like a potential speeding penalty. Wesley Donaldson, a speeding penalty. Some mistakes being made as Stephen Miles leaves pit road here, and others leaving pit road as they get up to speed here. Now it's just a matter of merging in. You see the momentum of the line with Carrington and Henry and others here in this pack. Carrington's actually got Austin Bloom as Barkuski tries to slow up that middle lane, but they're going to come flying up through here, a little 3 wide. And the leader's actually going to be Stephen Miles with help from Christopher Heller and Zach Henry. But these pack of other cars will likely catch these 2 cars up here at the front of this pack. And since pit road, we got through the pit stops, so it gives me a good opportunity to point out one of the biggest changes that has happened this season in the All-American Cup Series, and that is the fact that there is no more race director in the pit or in the press box calling the race. Basically, as you know, it was Joseph Pendy's last few seasons, and he has stepped away. And there's a new structure starting tonight. Drivers will have 20 incident points basically to work with. If they hit that number, they are out, basically. And the etiquette is to basically not be involved in 5 crashes, basically. It's like a DVP in real life type of deal. So black flags will be reviewed and handled post-race and so on and so forth. So we shall see how that all works out. As you see now, the train has come back together. As we look at some of the new guys here, is Charles Van Schaik. That's a double zero car running up there in the 7th position. I say new guys, new to this series. Of course, Ryan McCall running at 97 car. Up there in the 16th position for him. What else we got here? Jose Ruiz having a good run. He's hanging on to the end of this pack here. So is the Dean Machine. Here's your second pack of cars with Steve Ritter. Oh, Percheski almost sliding up in that 55 car. Michael York. The half Red Bull paint scheme. I say half Red Bull. It's actually a Red Bull paint, but just the paint's split in half. That is the 51 car of York, I should say. That's Jeff Noe in the 55. Let me get my numbers right here. Of course, Vinosky, all those guys here in this pack. There's Tyler Bellinger in the Dale Jarrett car. Murphy. And then back here, a couple cars that made mistakes. Casparo and Nick Leo, of course, got turned on pit road. And a lot of cars out of the pack now from mistakes of speeding penalties and so on and so forth. And they are going to need that yellow hanky. But as you see, as Anthony Calantoni has moved to the front here, those 4 cars are going to get eaten for lunch here in a minute. Some of these guys here tonight likely rocking 40 Racewear gloves and shoes. If you're one that loves to wear gloves or even maybe feels comfortable wearing racing shoes in the cockpit while you're racing in iRacing, or heck, you could even do them in your go-kart and stuff like that or whatever. But you check out 40 Racewear, as Jim Herrick, of course, a big supporter of iRacing, does a great job with the shoes and the gloves and so much more. So make sure you give Jim a look there on his website, 40racewear.com. The information is right there in the race information. Potentially seeing a little bit of lag in the stream, just FYI. If you're experiencing that, apologize for the inconvenience. clean and green here. 37 laps as Carrington back to the front. Lead pack of about 20 cars at least on the lead lap. Kyle Ethier, that 2 car. Check on the other pack here and see how they're looking. About 8 seconds, make that 9.5 seconds back from the lead. Is this pack here of Jeff No and Steve Ritter, Jeff Prochetsky. And unfortunately, it looks like they are slowly falling back. They're trying to get organized up, it looks like. They got to get into a straight line. You see the 38 has jumped out of line. That's going to slow them down. Justin Ray needs to fall to the back there, get in line with that 21 car. If they're going to have any kind of chance right now, losing a little bit of time. And look who's gone to the front. The man who earlier today in Discord called himself one of the slowest guys, pretty much. And that's where I kind of gave, oh, now he's putting himself in no man's land. Thompson looking. A part of racing, I've talked about this so many times, and I've even had to have to talk with myself about it, is mental. You go into a race thinking you're going to wreck or be completely slow, well, guess what's going to happen? Exactly that. Even on iRacing, it's the same way. Got to come in with that attitude of, hey, it's Daytona. Anything can happen tonight. I can put this car in victory lane. And, well, looky here. Austin Bloom, that 45 car, Superman, flying to the lead. If you're in it, you can win it. Simple as that. That 12 car back there, Josh Dillon, another driver that has not won a race in this series. You see now that second pack is, well, even more double file now. I'm pretty sure if I had comms right now and could hear chat, it'd probably be something of the words of, why are we double file? What are we doing? Bleepity 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 bleep. Be something like that. You see the 15 of Melnick getting out of line there as you get 20 cars separating out here. As we've just passed the halfway point here of this Firecracker 200. Appreciated by joining us here tonight on the Captain Esports Network. A new night for the All-American Cup Series, as they have moved to Thursday nights this season. And has opened the door for Friday nights, and that's where we're going to put some dirt cars on the air tomorrow night. So join us. Going to be heading over to I-55 Speedway, which of course is owned by Kenny Schrader, the Federated Auto Parts I-55 Speedway, for some dirt racing tomorrow night in a street stock car. That'll be kind of a new experience. Looking forward to that tomorrow night at 8:15 Eastern Time. And then next week here for the All-American Cup Series, it is the Chicagoland Speedway for race number 2. Make sure you tell your friends, tell your family. Pass the word on, because now we're getting towards the end of the year. And I know one thing I said back in January, there were some awards that were out there, and there's some great streamers on the air. And I said, you know what? A lot of people thought, hey, this guy does this thing by himself. I'm literally a one-man show. And I was like, you know what? I stay humble about as much as I can. But now, you know what? I'm going to go for something. So this is your time to help me out as we get towards the end of the year. As I need your support to pass the word on to friends and family. And who knows? Who says a one-man show can't win one of these prestigious streaming awards? that you see some pretty good talent win. As Thompson goes to the lead here, passing Austin Bloom. He's been very aggressive in that 3 car. Well, tell me where I've heard that before. Josh still in there in that 12, the 2 of Kyle Ethier, the 24 up there in the top side, and Nick Sargent, Kyle Hall also in that battle. Unfortunately, that second pack has just continued to lose time, back to 11.3 now. On board with Van Schaik as he sits right there in that back bumper of Wesley Donaldson at WBD Diecast number 99. Of course, if you haven't heard the story of Wesley, he actually paints his own diecast cars. He makes them for you. And you have a chance to reach out to Wesley. You can do so. And of course, Charles Van Schaik has his own racing collectible company called GOAT. Sargent in 24 car. You got all this side by side here, and then you got these guys who are more single file back here. I say that as Dean's passing somebody, but Dean riding back here behind the 91 of Dylan Rosenberg. These guys just kind of being patient and letting the race come to them, because you just never know what could break out here. Ooh, one car out of shape. Thompson getting shuffled. I saw the 45 getting out of shape up there. So I shared this stat with the crew earlier tonight before the race, and I'll say it again here to you guys. The last 3 times we have seen a race here at Daytona, you go all the way back to season 5. It was Jonathan Cutlip. Season 6, Leslie Lawlin, still one of the craziest finishes that I've ever seen at this track. Last season, it was the Joseph McOrder car that went to victory lane. Will we see a 4th straight first-time winner in a Daytona race in the All-American Cup Series? Right now, the answer would be no, because it's Mark Whitley and Casey Carrington, who have been 2 of the top racers in the series the last season or so, or 2. NASCAR 08 fan 008, hello. Appreciate you for hanging out. Check on the second pack back here again, as these guys have kind of slowly stabilized it. I say slowly, it's only 13 seconds now, but they're single file now. They just need to get tighter to each other now, unfortunately. I mean, you got to get it to where that second car is pushing that one, for the front car. You got to get the third car to push the second car. I mean, you got to be tight. If you leave any kind of gap, it's going to slow that pack down. If somebody's blinking too, that's not helping things. Of course, this is going to be the last season, by the way, before the Gen 4 car will be released, technically, onto iRacing. Of course, they're working on the models. They've gotten all the cars from, obviously where the owners are. They've had previous Gen 4 cars that are still out there. They've done scans on them, and you're going to see the model template Gen 4 car coming out here in a season or so. And so by the time we're at next February at Daytona in the All-American Cup Series, it'll actually be the Gen 4 cars, not the ARCA cars souped up and some mods on it and other stuff. I'm just hoping and praying that we get the cross pipes on the Gen 4. If we can get those Morgan McClure pipes, I will be happy. You can do whatever else you want to that car. I don't care. Just give me the pipes. I haven't really seen that intense moment in a race. Everybody's been fairly clean at a couple of, little ones, but nothing too much breaking out. The race has been clean and green. 52 laps in, and oh, by the way, your second round of pit stops literally in about 8 laps or so. 5, 6, 7, 8 laps. You're going to see the final pit stops for these guys, and you can't help but wonder who's going to fill up to try to get to lap 80 or potential overtime if everything changes. So to show you on the map where these guys are right now, see the lead pack crossing the start-finish line right now. These guys are over in turn 3 and 4, about 13 seconds back. And you got Nick Leo and 2 other cars sitting here in this third pack. And then the 81 back here of John Osborne, he's got a pack of about 3 cars himself. And then the leaders, all the rest of it pretty much. Yeah, the good news is, though, is they're holding on right about 13 seconds now, so you really haven't seen that change. So these guys have been able to maintain, but they're going to need some help. If it's a little more aggressive pushing, if it's a little bit aggressive racing from these guys up here, to hopefully pull them back in and give them a shot to win this Firecracker 200 here at the virtual Daytona International Speedway. Appreciate, again, everybody joining us here this evening. Ooh, up to 32 viewers. Appreciate everybody. Again, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on YouTube. Of course, got the YouTube Shorts. I mean, I want to say I'm kind of slacking on those, but been more busy getting the little one ready for school and stuff and really haven't had a chance to do them. I got a couple more to post here in the next couple days. But, of course, lots of broadcasts now getting going again. And just know we appreciate everybody hanging out, and hopefully you're enjoying the broadcast. Of course, feel free to say hello in chat. I don't mind talking to viewers or saying hello to everybody. Pretty much the usual names who I expected to be up here at the front in this race. They're the ones that are up front in this race. A couple other names that I'm not surprised to see up here. Doing a good job. Ooh, Dean almost got the outside wall there. On board with your roof, of course. Want to send a shout out to Carrington, of course, who's now leading this race, the owner of the league here, who also went to work a couple seasons ago and actually helped modify some cameras for me. The onboard shots you're seeing here in this Gen 4 car are done by Casey, so big help by him for what he's done to Make this car look really cool and close to real life, like a helmet cam right here in this thing. And of course, you got the old roof cam as always. Here we go. Got some pit stops. The second pack is on pit road. They're going to try to use pit stops to gain some time. And right there, around goes the 21 hard into the wall. Right again. You got to remember where you are on pit road. And Murphy just tattooed the inside wall after contact. Didn't see who the car was that got into him. But here we go, more pit stops. The leader's now coming in. And I like this call. On a super speedway and iRacing, you want to be the first one to pit last. Get on pit road and get out. Because now if the yellow comes out, you can be at the front of the field. You do not want to get hung out in this situation. Everybody leaving pit road. Don't see any mistakes here other than that accident just a second ago on pit road. As here comes more cars. Everybody locking it down. Thought Hall was going to get together at the 45 there. It looked pretty close, but everybody working out okay here. This is where the advantage of having an actual live spotter helps you, because you can actually say, hey, there's a car below you, or whatever, to get to your pit stall and stuff. As Tony's going to spin her out. Right in front of Van Schaik's pit stall. As Ether and others come to pit road here. Still got about 9 or 10 cars here that have not come to pit road. And they're going to come right here. Zach Henry, the 8 of Heller, the 25 of Barkuski. That whole 25-11 team. There's Miles locking it up. Dean's on pit road. And then Rosenberg also. Should be probably 2 tires and at least a half a can. As they roll out here, just trying to see who might be the leader of this race when it's over with. If it's not one of these cars coming out of pit road. Looks like it's Carrington right now leading this pack. Let's see if they can get. They're going to, I mean, they'll be together. It's just a matter of who's going to be the leader of that pack when you get there. There you see this last group of cars that are just getting on track. You see Rosenberg trying to get up to speed. That 25-11 group had a great pit stop. The whole oh, easy. Almost had a wreck right here. But Heller, Henry, and Barkuski look like the top 3. Stephen Miles tagging on to the 25's bumper. Dean is right there. Carrington and others. Those guys get single file now as they just try to catch each other now before they'll probably pack back up. $1,000,000 question. Can they do 19 laps without a big wreck? I mean, the obvious answer we want to say is no, because let's face it, aggression's going to pick up. But for the sake of the way this race has been so far and how cool it's been, how it's been some fantastic racing, that'd be awesome to see this go that way. Miles just got turned sideways there for a second, it looked like. All right, now they're starting to catch each other here. Here's where you're going to see this is the time where you want to find your friends. Now this 06 car up here, this is Johnny Barker. He is actually in 30th, a lap down. But he's picked up Dean. I'm sorry, it's not Dean. That's a 28, actually, of Hunter Canyon's also a lap down. So those two up there leading that top side. And here comes the 29 up there, who's also a lap down of Botet. So these guys racing for the lucky dog, while the others are racing for the lead on the bottom side. And by the way, the front pack is their 3 wide. Here we go. Hold on, boys. Oh, here we go. Whitley into the 45, into the wall they go. Whitley, I didn't see much damage on to 35 into the wall, but the first caution. With 16 laps to go, Whitley trying to get out of it. The contact between he and Thompson. Collects Barker and Legowski. And let's roll that beautiful bean footage and see what happened here. One so beautiful for a couple cars. You're going to see right here, Thompson kind of slides up the track here, and the 77's there. And he just kind of shuts the door back down. There's the contact, 45 of... Melnick gets the wall hard. Add the 97 to the list, and Whitley ends up on its lid. But Austin Bloom ends up involved. This actually ends up a little bit bigger of a wreck than it really looked, and I did not notice that the 77 went bottoms up. Let's go crash cam here. Add Kyle Hall to the collection. Just a rough sequence of events there. Brings out the caution for the first time here, and we are going to see some cars come to pit road here, probably getting damage fixed. Whitley going for Ryan, gets it straightened back out. Car still running, let her roll. Don't see too much heavy damage. I mean, that front end's kind of crinkled up. The cars are on pit road here. Heller and these guys leading. Obviously, with the long green flag run and the pre-race earlier and stuff, didn't get a chance to talk to anybody before the race got started. So let's actually do so here. And we're actually going to talk to one of the main reasons we're here tonight. That we get to see a 8th season of the All-American Cup Series, and that being the driver of the number 16, that being the Steve Ritter automobile. And let's talk to Steve here. Let's get him over into chat here once I finally get into Discord again here. And let's pull him up here. Steve, you got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. Obviously, caution you guys wanted back there in that second pack is you guys get to join back up here in this lead pack with 14 laps to go. Been a fantastic race here so far, and I know that's only about 2.5% of the reason why Leafguard of Vermont has come to be a premier partner now of the All-American Cup Series. Talk about your partnership with Casey, of course, and not only that, but, of course, the company and stuff you represent.
Yeah, I mean, the partnership with Casey just kind of formed naturally. I joined the league last season, and it's one of the best leagues I've ever been in. He runs a great show here, he keeps it tight, so I felt like investing in it, and just kind of came about naturally. So we jumped on board this year to be the, one of the premier sponsors. And Leafguard of Vermont, as well as all the Leafguard branches across the country, just a self-contained gutter system. It's one of a kind, really protects the house from water damage.
And obviously, a great job, as we've heard all about Leafguard. I've seen them around in different areas, and obviously you guys doing a great job in Vermont. And, of course, we're getting to that season now. We've had the rain and stuff and so on and so forth, but now we're going to get into that fall season where leaves and things start falling in.
Yeah, definitely, and that's one of the things we protect against. Nobody wants to get on a ladder, go up and clean those gutters out, and with our system, you never have to do that. You don't ever have to worry about it again.
There you go, man. Check out Leafguard. Was it leafguardvermont.com?
Leafguardvermont.com.
There you go. Make sure you check it out. Steve, appreciate your time. More importantly, remember what the stat earlier, 3 first-time winners in a row. Let's go get 4.
I saw that. I was like, okay.
and you said, what? How many years you been racing?
Over 20.
Ladies and gentlemen, 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Where have we heard this before? Go get it, Dale. That's all I'm going to say. Go get it, Dale.
Thanks, Chris.
You too, buddy. Steve Ritter, of course, running in the 14th position. I was joking with that over on Discord. He had put that post. I was like, 20 years of trying. Here we go. The old Mike Joy call there from the famous race in 98. Of course, Dale going to victory lane in that one. Well, this could get interesting now. We've had that first caution here, lap 67. Coming to green, 13 laps to go. This is where the aggression's really going to pick up. We do get 3 overtimes if needed. Let's hope we don't. But that's why they're there. Pace car is going to pull off, and the crew of 2511 up there, 3 of the first 4 positions. Heller, Henry, your front row, Casey Carrington, and the third 2511 car bar, Kusky on the outside as we go green, 12 to go. And you know what? Let's take a chance. We didn't get a chance to do it tonight. Welcome to the new season, and turn it up. Rocking. knowing a couple others involved here. I was trying to find who it was. And we made it through the Turn It Up segment before the caution comes out. Glad I was able to get that in there for everybody to enjoy the sounds of the race. Let's see what transpired. His second caution, lap number 70. Ooh, little checkup right there. Contact with Craig. Oh, 18 gets in there, and then Dylan gets in the 18. 55 into the 21. 21 gets clobbered by somebody. Little checkup. Oh, 29, the other car involved there. So 5 cars, it looks like. Get the view here from the 21 of Murphy. There's nowhere to go. So we'll get the cars to pit road. Those with damage. And question then becomes, who can bring it home in victory lane? How much fuel does drivers need to save? Because you have to assume that they didn't fill their tanks up at that caution, or I'm sorry, at the green flag pit stop. Did they get enough for overtime? Again, appreciate everybody hanging out. I know, I guess some here and there, and even right now, it looks like maybe some streaming issues on my end. So if you guys are getting some pixelation or whatnot, some freezing, apologize for that, obviously. I definitely appreciate everybody hanging out. Just either some with OBS or, heaven forbid, my computer's wonking out. But either way, been a fantastic race to be a part of. As I mentioned this season, of course, you heard us talk to Steve Ritter. It's the All-American Cup Series presented, or I should say presented with his premier partners. This season you got, of course, Leafguard of Vermont for the first part of the season, and then you'll hear Sim Racer Hub come in, and you'll hear their name a lot more, and you're going to hear a lot of it because that's pretty much a lot of leagues on iRacing use Sim Racer Hub for their points and for their stats and stuff. If you ever wanted to see my stats from leagues that I've been in that use Sim Racer Hub, I could probably pull them up and tell you. But so many leagues, including this one, use Sim Racer Hub to keep up with their seasonal stats and their career stats and so on and so forth. And has really been updated in a lot of ways here in the last year or so. And it's definitely one that I use a lot. When it comes to numbers, how I find half my stats and all the broadcasts I do and stuff I usually share. Like tonight, for instance, Casey Carrington making his 97th career start. He'll be the first one to 100 unless something bad happens. I can actually, even now from doing my own research, believe it or not, can actually look up super speedway records, believe it or not. Carrington picking up his 7th pole on a super speedway track. You might ask who has the most wins on a super speedway in the All-American Cup Series. They're not in the race, put it like that. It's Matthew Weeks and Mike Husby, both with 2 apiece. You take those away, and we literally have 12 winners and 14 in the history of All-American on Super Speedway. So not many repeat winners. Will we see another first one tonight? Will we see a first-time winner tonight? We shall see as Heller, Henry, Carrington, Barkowski, and Justin Thompson leading them to the green flag. Miles there on the outside with Dean, Daniel, Giroux, who won the Tuesday night Sim Racer Hub race. And then outside that 92 car looking to sweep the week. Zach Rogers in that 19 car. So far, so good. First car popping out of line back there towards the back. Looked like Ritter for a second was trying to get in there. And he pulls back in line there in that outside lane. 5 laps to go. This looks very familiar. Sorry, Brantley. The last season, 1, 2, 3 sat the 3 Harpoon cars just like this. 1 car on the inside, 2 on the outside. One of them did go to victory lane, but the other 2 were on a wrecker. And this is like the perfect storm right now. If Henry can hold down Carrington in that second lane, or in that second car in line, it's going to take somebody making a move to the top side to take one of those 2511 cars out of victory lane tonight. Question is, who makes that first move? It's going to have to be Miles. It's going to have to be somebody up there in that top side. Giroux. There's the first move right there. That's Dylan Rosenberg making the move up top. Surprised Giroux didn't go up there with him, kind of hanging him out. Calantoni up the middle with Ritter. Here comes the top side with Percheski maybe. Seatbelts on, boys. This is going to get wild. Top side comes Miles. Miles trying to get his first win in this series. Two laps to go. And you now have a line of roughly 21 cars, 3 wide back here. Heller gets clear. If Carrington clears, he might make a move here. I'm surprised Henry didn't move up. If Henry, oh, and they make contact! Wrecking, and caution is going to come out, and this is going to be huge. One car up in the fence, it's Leo. And more cars tumbling and more contact. And the big one strikes, coming to the white. I was just about to say as that started, I was surprised Henry didn't move up. If Henry moves up and gives the middle to Barkuski, you are literally blocking the whole entire track with 2511 cars and probably going to victory lane. But unfortunately, contact between Henry and Barkuski. Miles with heavy damage. Callantone, lots of cars involved. I mean, you got cars still hitting each other here. I think or chase. Let's hit the crash cam here. I mean, I wonder if Barkuski was thinking the same thing here. If Henry moves up in front of Miles, they're 3 wide for the win between teammates. Count the cars. I'm counting at least 15 cars, 20 cars maybe. Poor Kyle Hall back here. All fun and games, though. You get a guy later on here just clobbers you. Whack! Yeah, that's going to leave a mark. Seth Fowdy, thank you, buddy. Oh, man, this sets some things up here. So we're going to overtime. And we have 17 cars right now on track. A few of those are a lap down, which makes it like 20. The rest of them are on pit road. Look at this crew leaving pit road after that. I am yet to find who became the Leslie Law in that wreck. I have not seen it yet. Let's see if I can find... Oh, there's contact in the back. See that back there? I don't think there was a Leslie Law on that wreck. And for those who don't get that joke, Leslie Law went through a wreck like that without even lifting. And he ended up winning the Daytona race last year. Alright, I want to go back here for a second because there was a wreck before the wreck. And let's show this because there's a reason why I'm going to this. The 06 here gets involved in a wreck. Ooh. 28 gets turned hard. And the 06 tries to get up to speed. I think he's got some kind of damage or something. There's where Carrington then make contact. And then there, it all breaks loose. And Wham! Yeah, and that one too. And there's a wheel. All right, pace car pulls off. Overtime, number 1. With 2 laps to go, it is Zach Henry. A little bit of left front damage on that car. With Justin Thompson. Look who's third. Daniel Giroux, Christopher Dean. Steve Ritter is 5th. Silver's trying to get to the middle. Field kind of separated out there a little bit. Craig Martin coming into the battle. Calantoni's still there. All these cars jumbled up with damage, trying to get what they can get out of this. Oh, more contact back there as they are going to get to the white flag with Justin Thompson leading. Thompson with the block on Dean. I guess I should have warned Thompson. Dean's probably not the one you want to throw a block on. Casey Carrington heading for the infield. Not sure what happened there. Coming off of turn 4, the race is on. Thompson versus Henry. As they come to the stripe, Justin Thompson scores the win in the Firecracker 200. Henry going to get second. Dean third. Daniel Giroux fourth. Steve Ritter ends up in the top 5. As Thompson will break the streak of first-time winners. As Thompson did get a win last season at Auto Club Speedway. Of course, everybody tries to do burnouts up the track, so they don't get the good camera. For Thompson, it's actually his 3rd career win and his 12th start, which last year was his rookie season. So go figure, the 3 car gets its 3rd career win at Daytona. Of course, Thompson got his last win as he's actually, well, the old victory lane's on the right here. The new one's on the left. Last time he ran a race, actually, in this series was in Iowa Speedway in April, won that race. So he's actually won his last 2 starts. Of course, that Auto Club win there, too, as he goes to victory lane here this evening. We take a look at the race results here as Thompson wins it over Zach Henry Congratulations to Christopher Dean finishing in the 3rd position there. Daniel Giroux, Steve Ritter, your top 5. Christopher Heller, 6th. James Silver, 7th. Zach Rogers, 8th. 9th to Jeff Percheski and Anthony Calantoni finishing 10th. Michael York, 11th. Jake Vanoski, 12th. Brandon Markuski, 13th. John Osborne, 14th. Mark Whitley comes back to a top 15 finish. Josh Dillon, Casey Carrington, Stephen Miles, Tyler Bellinger, Jose Ruiz, your top 20. Kyle Ethier, Austin Bloom, Nick Leo, Jeff No, and Jonathan Altman, your top 25. Wesley Donaldson, Johnny Barker, Matthew Casbaro, and Christopher Murphy, Justin Ray, your top 30. Craig Martin, Dan Legowski, Kyle Hall, Nick Sargent, Charles Van Schaik ends up 35th. Dylan Rosenberg, Ryan McCall, Hunter Cannon, Alex Botte, Steve Melnick, and Brad Delph, your 41 finishers in the race this evening. And what was a pretty entertaining one there. Going to talk to some drivers. Have to see if Dean, Christopher Dean, might chat. He might not. We'll see. Be cool to talk to him. Obviously, good job on the 3rd place finish for him. And while we wait on him, we'll talk with Zach Henry, who finishes in the 2nd position here tonight. Zach, obviously, congratulations. I was kind of obviously calling the race there, and I was thinking to myself as the unfortunate contact between you and Brandon and that happened. Was there any thought of moving to the middle for you to maybe make it a 3-wide race to the finish for the team?
I mean, briefly, right. Yes. But every time I've tried that in the past, it never worked out well. So, and based on what we were watching, it looked like when that 3rd line started to get to the front, they would stall out.
Right.
Really, the only issue we were having was Brandon was starting to get a little bit warm. And then, yeah, that little incident, I just got I was starting to get super tight off the corners. And I moved up just a little bit right as he came to bump me, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate deal there, but it worked out still for you as you got yourself a 2nd place finish. I know it didn't work out for Chris and obviously for Brandon in the end there, but obviously a great start to the season though for you.
Absolutely. I will honestly take any finish where I'm not wrecked at the end of these things. With how bad my luck is at super speedways, and I honestly think that the 2511 guys, me, Chris, and Brandon, I think we ran a great race, had a great strategy. There were a few things that we did throughout the race that really put us in that position to begin with, and we were just talking about it, and Chris said, I mean, all you can ask for is a chance, and we had a chance.
Had to feel pretty good to see you guys come out there 1, 2, 3 after that last pit stop.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were nailed.
Uh-oh.
To hopefully not pit with a bunch of other people so we could have a cleaner entry and exit off the pit road. And both Brandon and I almost sped on 2 different stops, but fortunately, like we could, I mean, we got it down in time and just worked out. It was one of them rare occasions where everything just seemed to kind of fall in line for us throughout the race, and then it was not necessarily bad luck, but an actual mistake by really myself there at the end.
Well, great job tonight, man. Send some shout outs to her, I like to.
All right, I always got to shout out my wife. I know she's watching, and then I got some family watching too. My mom, dad, and youngest sister. And then 2511 guys, Chris and Brandon, always a blast running with them. And once again, we had a great strategy, and it's just nice to be there at the end and to have a shot. Can't really ask for a whole lot more at these kinds of places. Chris, excited to go and watch this broadcast. I feel like it was probably pretty exciting, especially the last probably 30 laps when the different strategies were coming into play and it started getting a little more aggressive. And then Casey for this league. I love running this league when I can, and I think he does an excellent job running it. And I think that's it.
There you go, man. Well, great job tonight. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely. Zach Henry, the second place finisher here tonight in the Firecracker 200. Congratulations to him as he goes to victory lane here, or goes almost to victory lane, I should say, as unfortunately falls up a little bit short, but it is the Georgia driver, Justin Thompson, who does go to victory lane here.
Let's go racing, boys!
As he hits me with a Darrell Waltrip as he comes into the channel to celebrate. Justin Thompson, congratulations. Obviously, third career win in the 3-car comes at Daytona, and obviously a pretty big win for you.
Yeah, it is. Earlier this year, back in February, for season 7, I had a pretty rough go at Daytona. I mean, kind of seems to be, living up to the 3's reputation at Daytona. You can win the midsummer race, but you can't win the first one. Like, what's with that?
20 years of trying, so we'll see you in 20 years, right?
Good God, 20 years from now, I'm still doing this. I'll be happy to still be doing this in 20 years if it's still a viable option.
There you go. Well, I'm sure there'll be a lot of upgrades, but no, man. Obviously, talk about your race a little bit there, because you started up there in the top 5, and you fell back a little bit there, and you just kind of put yourself in position, just trying to stay safe, I guess, for the right part. And then you and Casey, that first pit stop, you two just kind of jetted out of the pit road and got to the front there, and from there just kind of, again, maintained and put yourself in the right position to be there at the end.
Yeah, started the race with an EOL, went all the way to the back.
Okay.
Was back up in the top 10 within 10 laps. Wanted to see what was capable with the car. I mean, it's a different setup than what we ran here in February, so the car drives a little different than what it did in February. So I was seeing what the car would do early, and got all the way up to the front, took the lead, led a couple laps, and then started dropping back for the first pit stop, and pitted with Casey and all those guys on that team. And it's like I got on Casey's bumper and didn't leave the rest of the race. I was perfectly content being right behind him, trying to push him to get a win tonight. But unfortunately, there at the end, the big one happened, and I was able to get through it absolutely clean, surprisingly, with it happening all around me.
It worked out for you very well, and very good timing on that one, man. Well, obviously got to feel pretty good. You've actually won your last 2 starts, because I'd kind of forgotten this. You weren't there for the last few races of the season. The last win you had was the Iowa Speedway, and you were there. That was the last time you were on track, so you've kind of got a little win streak going here.
Yeah, when I talked to you back at Iowa, I said I was going to try and carry that momentum into the following season, and well, here we are.
Right?
And I'm carrying that momentum right on in here. So, we'll see how it pans out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make all the races. I'm going to try.
Right.
I'm in the middle of a career change, so, that's a lot of stuff going on in personal life outside of this. So,
which is always more important, as we all know. So, well, great job tonight. Congratulations. Welcome to Victory Lane, and send your shout-outs to whoever you like to.
First and foremost, Casey and everybody involved here, giving us a place to race weekly. It's nice. I mean, the group of guys we got here, I know I didn't make a lot of friends last season, but the group of guys we've got here, we put on a good show, and we can all race together really well. So, that there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes for this league to operate, and I appreciate every single person that's involved with it. Second, you for broadcasting. You got one of the best broadcasts when it comes to these types of races, and it's always fun to go back and watch them every week. And then my kids, my wife, my family, all of them. My wife puts up with my crazy habits and my stupid spending sprees I go on all the time.
There you go. Well, great job, man. As you well earned here tonight, and obviously I know the family's always proud, and I know you work hard and go do your thing, and hopefully we'll see you next week at Chicago. If not, then all the best. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, I hope to make it at Chicago. I like that track. It's got a lot of character. You move around a lot at Chicago. a lot of viable options for lines at Chicago in this car. It's a lot of fun to race there.
Absolutely. Agree 100%, man. Well, great job tonight.
Appreciate it, Chris.
Yes, sir. Justin Thompson, the winner here of the Firecracker 200 here at the Daytona International Speedway, virtually on iRacing. Big congratulations to him for his celebration. He gets to, celebrate with the points lead and a free bowl of ice cream from his freezer. So, congratulations to him, if he even has ice cream. All right, unfortunately, didn't get to talk to Dean, so unfortunately there, Chris, obviously, if you're watching, or anybody from Laser Racing Miles, you guys there, obviously, great job tonight to him. And to everybody in this race, fantastic racing here this evening at Daytona. Did not see many wrecks at all. Did get the big one there at the end. But needless to say, some fantastic racing here at the World Center of Racing. I'm stalling because I'm trying to get you guys the points after one race here to show off. There they are. Of course, it's pretty much how you finish. Obviously, some bonus points in there, here and there. But Thompson, Henry, Dean, Giroux, and Heller, of course, tied there for fourth. Ritter, and obviously how you finish pretty much all the way down. So let's give you the updated schedule. Right there, Daytona, Chicagoland next week. Then Loudon, New Hampshire on the 22nd. Darlington as we go into Labor Day weekend. Of course, Michigan there on the 5th. Nashville Superspeedway, Indianapolis. Some great racing coming up for the next 13 weeks after tonight. So should be a pretty good one here. So where's the old boss man here? Because now I can actually cover myself here as I bring him up here, because I thought about this before the race, and I said, if I bring Casey up here, I'm going to get blamed for him wrecking from the pole because I interviewed him.
I was waiting on the interview.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you still pretty much wrecked.
Yeah, I mean, that last. Well, let's go to the last caution there. I mean, I'm not going to do a whole post-race interview. You're trying to sign off here, but
It's okay.
I thought the white flag was out. A lot of people, and a lot of the drivers thought the white flag was out. So I'm sitting there like the people in Twister with the cows flying around, watching cars spinning across in front of me, and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And I'm sitting there trying to get through as quickly as possible. So I was relieved that the yellow was out, and I even had a chance to get back up to speed. And then I kind of goofed there at the end and lost some spots, doing some stuff I shouldn't have been doing. But overall, for the league, it was a great kick. I think that's probably one of the best Daytona season openers we've had in the league. I know it was probably a little boring up front for the first half of the race because we were kind of just cruising around. But yeah, I mean, that was, me, rarely I have fun at Daytona, but I had fun tonight.
Yeah, we had fun here watching the race, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about, is obviously the race here tonight. Obviously a fantastic start to obviously a new night of racing here on Thursday night, and who knows, maybe the future of All-American here could be looking really good on Thursday night, so we get 13 more races like this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is the best start. Somebody just told me right before he pulled me up here that it was the best start to a season we've had, and it's a good night for the league when I end up finishing mid-pack and I'm still in a good mood. So yeah, we got Chicago in next week, and I'm looking forward to that. Really looking forward to getting, obviously, taking these cars to a mile and a half is really what they're kind of made for. So it'll be a lot of fun. I was really impressed with the driver, especially a lot of the new guys. I mean, you've been here since season 4. Especially look at the season opener for season 7. I mean, that one was really rough, especially with a lot of the new members there. So I have a lot of respect for the guys for the way they raced with respect and kept everything clean, especially there at the finish. And man, I'm really excited for this season now.
Well, great job, man. And obviously, congratulations. Starts at the top, as they always say. So starts with you and works your way down. So heads up, and man, good job.
Yeah, thank you for the broadcast. Thanks everybody watching, and congratulations to everybody that had a good finish tonight.
There you
Wish
go.
I was one of them.
Thanks for coming out.
Yep.
Casey Carrington. Oh man, I missed that. Anyways, all right, let's take off. Let's go enjoy Thursday night. Again, tomorrow night we're back for some dirt racing for the first time in like a year. I don't know when the last time I broadcasted a dirt race is, so looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. Get out there and get a little dirty at I-55 Speedway tomorrow night. Looking forward to that show, and appreciate everybody for coming out and hanging out for the broadcast and all. So let's head out, and always remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!